The matrix does not need chains when it can keep you perpetually distracted by other people. Controllers, those who thrive on influence, approval, and dominance, understand that a busy, scattered mind is far easier to manage than a quiet, focused one. They fill your life with noise, endless drama, shifting expectations, urgent demands, subtle judgments, and relational obligations that leave little room for you to pause and think clearly. This human-generated noise becomes the primary tool of control because it feels personal and inevitable, like the natural cost of connection or responsibility. A mind kept in constant motion cannot turn inward. When controllers surround you with their crises, opinions, comparisons, and emotional requirements, you rarely have the uninterrupted space to examine your own life, question the rules you are following, or imagine a path that truly belongs to you. You respond instead of reflect. You manage their expectations instead of clarifying your own values. You chase approval or avoid disapproval while your deeper desires and authentic direction quietly fade into the background. The controller wins not by locking you in a cage, but by ensuring you never stop long enough to notice the bars. This noise takes many familiar forms. A partner who creates endless small conflicts so you stay focused on fixing the relationship rather than evaluating it. A boss or mentor who piles on vague demands and moving goalposts, keeping you anxious and proving your worth. Family members who weaponize guilt, obligation, or dramatic stories to pull you back into old roles. Social circles that thrive on gossip, comparison, and performative busyness so no one has time to step away and see the patterns. Even well-meaning people can become controllers when their own insecurity demands your constant attention and alignment. The message, spoken or unspoken, is always the same. Stay occupied with me, with us, with this dynamic, and do not look too closely at yourself or at the cost. The brilliance of this control lies in its intimacy. It does not feel like oppression. It feels like love, loyalty, duty, or friendship. You are not being forced with threats. You are being gently overwhelmed with needs, expectations, and noise that make stillness seem selfish or cold. Over time, silence and solitude start to feel threatening because they risk revealing how much of your energy has been diverted to maintaining someone else's sense of control. A distracted person remains dependent. A present person begins to see clearly and eventually walks away. Controllers rely on this distraction because their power depends on your fragmentation. A focused individual who protects their attention becomes harder to guilt, harder to shape, and harder to keep small. They start setting boundaries. They begin questioning the unspoken rules. They reclaim the right to live by their own inner signal instead of everyone else's noise. That shift threatens the entire dynamic, which is why the noise often intensifies precisely when you try to step back. Reclaiming your attention from other people is one of the most powerful acts of self-liberation. It begins with small, deliberate choices, creating time alone without interruption, learning to tolerate the discomfort of saying no, noticing when guilt or urgency is being manufactured to pull you back in, and protecting quiet spaces where your own thoughts can finally surface. In that stillness, clarity returns. You see whose expectations you have been carrying. You feel what you actually want. You recognize the matrix for what it is, not an abstract system, but a web of human relationships that only holds power when you keep feeding it your attention. The matrix wants you distracted by people because a mind at peace with itself is dangerous to anyone who needs to control it. Constant interpersonal noise is not just background stress. It is the central mechanism that keeps you performing, pleasing, and shrinking. I choose to try to step back. Choose presence over performance. Guard my attention like the sacred resource it is. When I stop answering every call for my energy, the noise loses its grip and the path to my own freedom starts to become visible. The voices will always try to pull me back in. The question is whether you will keep listening or whether I will finally turn inward and listen to the quiet truth that has been waiting for me all along.